Good morning. Welcome, welcome. How's everyone today? Happy Tuesday. Hopefully, it is not too cold where you're at. We are having a warming trend here. It was 55 degrees yesterday. It felt like spring, and I noticed some of my bulb flowers are starting to come up. And I'm like, well, that's too early. Good morning. All right. So, tomorrow is a big update show on Whatnot Seller account. So make sure you have that bookmarked. Let me find it here. Let's see. Why is it not popping up? Whatnot Sellers. All right. So if you look at that account, oh, they moved it, you guys. Dang it. They moved it. So I don't know why they moved it. But on the 18th, they're doing attracting buyers. So they were supposed to have an update show tomorrow. Good morning. Welcome in, Carol and 92929. So I guess they put it off. But I do know of one thing coming down the pike that's super exciting. So yeah, hold tight. They've got a lot of updates coming. I guess they're putting it off because they're waiting to be able to announce some stuff they're still working on. So it looks like we aren't going to get updates until the 4th of March. Like a show about them. Probably they'll start rolling some of them out. All right. Well, bummer. I was excited for that. Good morning. Hey, Sassamom, how are you? Read the show notes. If you have any questions, put them in chat with a question mark. Happy to try and answer things for you. I have a lot of documents that I share in this show that are just documents to help guide you where to get help, how to get help, ideas, brainstorming, all that stuff. Yeah, I'm good. Can't complain. So, I wanted to talk about something that I've been seeing people talk about and just give you my 2 cents about it. And that is promoting or boosting shows. So if you're relatively new, um, and you were given an incentive to have them boost your first show, usually those do help because they, compared to being a new seller with no followers, no boosts, etc., then it will. Let's see, I am Lynn. I am locked out of my account due to knocking my computer off the counter. It crashed. I was frazzled and tried. Okay, keep typing. So that sounds awful. So, they just put those promotes out there that I was talking about. So what was I exactly saying? Now I lost my train of thought for a second here. Anyway, you have the option. Oh, when you're new, they will promote your first show and give you some incentive money. And those seem to work really well because compared to nothing, it's going to give you, a nice little boost. However, depending on what category you're in, how much competition there is, what you're selling, a lot of different factors, the results for paying to promote your show or having people boost your show are very mixed. So I would say don't do that unless you've really done some research and seen other sellers that it works for in your category. Don't pay money to promote unless you've really figured out, how you think it's going to work. And if you do pay to promote, make sure you really analyze the promotion analytics to make sure it's going to work for you, and or that it did work for you and was worth the money. Because I have very mixed results on the few times that I've had, promote on. So, so Lynn messaged me because probably you're going to have to message them separately and plead your case if your account got locked off. Probably because they have a way to try and detect different things going on. And if they see anything fishy, they, so I'm guessing something happened, when you were trying to get back in that made them suspicious that your account got hacked. Yeah, that's what I'm guessing is they think your account got hacked. And so you're going to have to message them and try and get it restored. So message me on this account and I'll see if I can guide you back through, or get you in touch with someone that can help you restore your account. Yeah, it takes a while, sadly, because they just don't have the capacity to get to everybody super fast. So, yeah. So just explain what happened, and they'll be able to see that it all came from the same account. Stay on the same email thread. Don't keep sending separate messages because that won't get you anywhere. Start one email thread, wait for them to respond. You're going to have to respond back on the same email thread. And, hopefully it will get back up. I know that's frustrating. Do you have packages that you're supposed to send? Ooh, yikes. Yeah, so same thing. You're not going to be able to send them because you're locked out. So, and they will probably, at some point, if they think that it was, that your account was hacked, they may refund people. And I'm sorry for that, but they may, go through and refund people. So, anyway, just stay vigilant on that. But yeah, message me privately and I'll see if I can make something happen for you. I doubt it, but I don't know that I have any power to do much else. So just keep staying on that same email thread. All right, welcome in everybody. Yeah, be careful about, if you get logged out or something, don't keep trying to log in and changing things because it will think that someone's trying to hack your account and it will lock it out because they have that in place to try and prevent fraud, try and prevent someone from hacking people's accounts, but it kind of messes it up for you. So, on the one hand, it's really frustrating, but on the other hand, if it really is someone trying to hack your account, it protects you from them getting into your financial information and doing bad things. All right, so we were talking about promote. I just want everybody to be aware that paying to promote really has to make sense, and you need to do some research to make sure it's going to make sense before you spend money to promote, because most of the time, and especially in the categories that I'm in, it's not usually worth the money. It works better in categories that are hot, with lots and lots of people in them, where paying to promote will put you higher up in search, with thousands and thousands and thousands of people shopping in that category at that time versus a smaller, more niche category where, there's not just, it really just doesn't make enough difference because there's not enough people that are, searching within that category. And it may bring some cross people over, but they aren't necessarily going to, equate to people who will, follow, bookmark, and buy from you. So yeah, just really think through paying to promote. I know it seems like it should work better, but it's still based on how the algorithms are set up, because you can't pay for something that doesn't exist, if that makes sense. It can only bring so many people if there's enough people already shopping and wanting in that category to come. So, it has to make sense. Any questions about that? Let me know in chat. Please read the show notes and let me know, what questions you have, things that you're struggling with. What do you need help with? And I can try and answer your questions. So let me just guide you again to my documents that I share. So if you tap on the shop button on your screen and navigate to the auction tab, not the buy it now, the auction tab. So when you hit the shop button, make sure under auction. And I've got 19 items in there. I actually have another one that I have out there that I need to bring in. That one is, what did I call it? I'm trying to think. Anyway, so look through all of those. And if you want me to go over any of those with you, just say so in chat. Let's see, I typed out my show notes and it won't show them. So you put it in the actual show, you typed it while you were inside the show, in the show note little tab, or did you copy and paste them from somewhere? Because it should, you do have to put update. So when you type them in there, if you add some stuff to it, you have to click update or they disappear. So make sure you did that correctly. Are you on iPhone or Android? They do act a little bit different on Android than they do on iPhone. So, you did it on the computer? Oh, that's why. Yeah, you need to do it on your mobile device. Yeah, I don't think they work on the computer very well. So do it on a mobile device. So what I usually do is I have just a note, whatever it is on Android or on iPhone, you can you have a little app that allows you to just write notes. I put it in there and then I copy and paste it. And that way, if I want to change anything, I can just reuse it every show. So I just have it in my notes on my phone. And then if I want to change anything, I just copy it over and then change it in the little thing, in the little show note thing on the show itself. So yeah, I think that's probably the problem, because I don't think that's a feature that's supposed to really work very well on the computer web version. You can see them. I think you can edit them live, but I think it's glitchy. So do it on your mobile device. All right. I was trying to remember what thing that I added from last month that was new, and I can't think of it right now. I'll think of it. Anyway, so in the auction tab, all those documents have just topics of information that you can copy, screenshot. So tap, like for example, here's one about attracting and keeping buyers. Second one in there. It's got this as the cover, but if you swipe, you've got multiple pages of of the other information, quotes, and just lots of tips about attracting buyers. So go through the auction tab and read through all those different things, or look at all those different things and copy the ones that will be useful to you. So just, tap the picture, tap it again to make it big, and then swipe through and take screenshots of any of those that you need. On this show, I'm on walking on my treadmill every Tuesday and Thursday mornings. We just talk about whatever, everybody's got on their minds. Usually I have a topic that I'm prepared, to talk about, like I was talking about promote. And then, I just see what everybody else is wanting to talk about. And then a couple of times a month, we go on live in the evenings, and I'm in front of the camera. My next one like that is on the 11th. So it's this show. Make sure you have that one bookmarked. We're going to talk about attracting buyers and just really kind of go into depth of things that you need to be doing to get an audience, keep an audience, and just some tips about that, and some things that you need to brainstorm of what you're doing that you need to change up, do differently to keep more people in your shows. So it really does take trial and error to figure out what's going to work best for you. There's no magic formula for how to do whatnot, other than the very basic things that you need to be doing. But other than that, you've got to figure out for yourself what's going to work for you and bring you an audience, because everybody's different. Everybody goes live at different times. Everybody has different stuff at different times. Even if you're selling the same kind of stuff as someone else, the way you present it, how you share it, how you show it, is a different thing. It just makes it different. And so you've got to figure out how to bring the best you to the table, to the show, that's going to make people want to spend time with you, want to buy your stuff, and be there with you. And there's just, you've got to figure that out. So there's a lot of things you have to think through. And like I said, trial and error, because a lot of times you just have to figure out by what you're doing, what's going to work. Thank you for the question, Fabric Roost. What information do you pull from Whatnot to give to your tax person? Well, if you made over 20,000 in 2025, you will have gotten an email in your email account that you have on Whatnot from Stripe, and it will lead you to print out a 1099. I also got one in the mail this year, which I haven't in the past. So you will get a 1099, and it will show your gross sales, and then it has all the other fields filled in appropriately as needed. So you need to give them that, and then you also need to give them all of your expenses, and you need to have an account that knows how to file for small businesses. Explain what you do, make sure they are someone who has experience filing for people who run a small business. If they don't have experience with small business, I would find a different accountant, because you need someone that knows all the intricacies of filing for a small business. And other than, telling you that, you just need to gather, everything you've spent on your business. You need to know things like the square footage of your home that you use for your business purposes. You need to have things like receipts for, or proof of gas or travel, anything that you did in association with sourcing for your business. Because there's just a lot of different things that they can, that are included in a Schedule C for you to be able to have, write-offs, or not write-offs, but it's just different things like that. I don't know the verbiage. Anyway, so, and just ask, because they'll tell you, if you have a good accountant, they should already have given you some kind of worksheet that tells you all the things you need. So my accountant sends me a digital thing every year with all the lists of, what you need to have, and just to remind you all the things to gather. So, yeah. All right. But yeah, if you're made less than that, they don't automatically send you a 1099, is my understanding. So then you would need to go into your account on here and just kind of print out the analytics, the stats that you have in your account that show you the numbers. Same difference. Welcome in everyone who's joining. Thanks for being here. If you have questions, put them in chat with a question mark so that I can see them more easily. And please take a copy of the show notes. There are starred bullets in the show notes. There's 6 of them that have the official places that you need to go to on Whatnot to get help with different things. And I always tell people, it's kind of like if you buy something that you have to put together, the first thing you should do is read the instructions that came with the item. And then after you've looked through those, then you go to other sources, YouTube, other people who've put it together, et cetera, et cetera. But go to the source first. So you should be going through Seller Academy if you're a new seller. That's the 3rd or 4th starred bullet in here. Let me remember. I think it's the 4th starred bullet in the show notes is Seller Academy. It's the 3rd starred bullet in there. selleracademy.whatnot.com. So if you're a new seller and you have not gone through the tutorials on Seller Academy, please do that. And I'm sadly hearing that a lot of people don't know about it. I think they do tell you. I think people don't see their emails or don't read them, which reminds me, make sure that the email account that you have linked to Whatnot is an email account that you actually check, and that you're going in and making sure that your Whatnot emails are not going to spam and junk. Because there are emails with important information that you'll get from Whatnot that you need to see. So make sure you're checking your email, and you're checking to make sure they aren't going to the junk or spam folder. Retrain it so that your Whatnot emails go into your inbox. And I know I'm terrible at this too. I've gotten to the point where I hate email, because no matter how many new emails you set up, they always end up becoming a slush, just like inundated with junk email and so much email. It's hard to have one that stays clean, if you know what I mean. So yeah. Let's see. When I signed up, Seller Academy was a part of a checklist before the first show. Yeah, same with me. But now I don't know that they have anything you actually are required to do before they approve you to sell, which is sad. They kind of just opened the floodgates, and most people are getting approved to sell. So yeah. Yeah, the junk mail gets overwhelming, and so then I tend to not want to even check my emails, but try to have whatever email you have linked to Whatnot make sure you're checking it and have those going into the inbox so that you can check on them, because that's how you get notified of sales in the marketplace. It's how you get notified of promotions coming up, updates to the app, things that are special going on. For example, how many of you have heard the exciting news that Whatnot is having Mr. Beast come on Sunday? I think it's scheduled right before the Super Bowl. And he's going to be doing this huge promotion, giving away $1 million in prizes. It's going to bring a lot of people onto the app. I've never watched him, but he's a huge YouTube account. I mean, huge. He now has his own brands of merchandise, and he's one of these YouTubers that literally just does charitable stuff. He just makes money and gives it away. He's a pretty cool guy. So, from my understanding, so your kids watch him, yeah. So anyway, he's going to be on Whatnot, big show on Super Bowl Sunday, and it's going to bring a lot of new people to the app. So, whether or not they're going to shop in our shows, I don't know, but the potential is definitely there. And so they obviously are doing some Super Bowl promoting. That's exciting. So, check that out. It'll be a huge social media push to get people to come on. Maybe go check out his YouTube account and see. So it's just Mr. Beast. It's a weird name. It makes it seem kind of like, when I first heard of him, I'm like, is that some pro wrestler or something? But he's just this guy who apparently does a lot of he just loves to, go find people that need help and do things to help people out. And he kind of just got famous doing that. And his YouTube is huge now. So kind of fun. And he has candy brands that I've seen and some other merch that he produces and sells. So kind of interesting. Fabric Roost watches it. There you go. Am I accurate in how I'm describing? I've never actually watched. That's the funny thing. This is all hearsay. So I hope I'm accurately representing him. But he seems like a nice person. He has, obviously he's doing well with it, but he's using it to do good. So that's cool. Okay, good. Like, I haven't heard any sketchy bad things about him. So, all right. Yeah, so I think it's going to bring a lot of people onto the app. Now, it may be, a lot of people just wanting the giveaways, but once they come onto the platform and see how fun it is, they're probably a good portion of them are going to stick around and check it out. So, be prepared possibly for a big influx of new buyers. So that's exciting. His content is family friendly. That's good. That's good. These days, you never know. He was famous way before he started doing the charitable work he's known for now. Number one YouTuber for a really long time. See, that's cool. You can see how untrendy I am. I'm just not. I'm not a trendy person. I'm like, I do what I like and what I want. And if I happen to hear about or see some other things, I'm just like, oh, okay, that's cool. So I'll have to check him out. So, but that's exciting. Whatnot's putting some money into, what things that will actually bring some more, they're marketing in a way that will bring some more people to the platform. That's exciting. We always need influx of new buyers. And I'll be honest, lately we have had shows recently where I had more new buyers than I had existing buyers. So that's exciting. He's really grown and pivoted. Speaking of his merch, I saw his beef sticks in the store the other day. Oh, yeah. So he has like snacks and candy. I've seen candy. I haven't seen the beef sticks, but I see his candy. So yeah. So what did he start out doing originally that got him popular so that he was at the point where he could start doing the giveaway type stuff? What got him popular in the first place? I'm curious about that. So it's interesting because, Whatnot is prank content. Oh, interesting. So he went from being a prankster to now being popular enough that instead of pranking people, he gives stuff away. Okay. All right. Interesting. But we have a lot of people on social media who are huge influencers now because of different things that they've done. And I think it's interesting because I really do feel like people are paying way more attention to all of that than other types of media, which in some ways are good because I feel like um, true journalism is dead. Honestly, we don't have any journalists at least on television really that are just doing journalistic investigation and reporting. It's all biased one way or the other. It's, in my opinion, ridiculous. So it is very sad. It's very sad because there's no news that you can just turn on and just get, unbiased facts about things. Instead, it's very biased one way or the other. And it bothers me immensely because, no matter which way I lean, I still would like to be able to just formulate my own decisions and not have someone else's bias influencing me, right? And I know there's probably never really 100% unbiased reporting because everybody reports things according to their own experience, but it would be nice to feel like they're mostly just reporting facts. So, yeah, I don't want people to tell me what to think either. Exactly. So, yeah, that's how I feel about that. So, and there's even shows on like YouTube and stuff that claim, that they're just giving you statistics and information, but then how they report those statistics shows that it's very biased. So I'm like, whatever, go away. So, yeah, that they claim, they're just giving you the numbers or the facts or whatever. And it's like, yeah, but the way you just reported it shows your bias towards something, Anyway, it's hard to know what's truth out there anymore. That's why I tell everybody focus on your local community, your own neighborhoods, and improving those because you just don't know what to trust outside of that. What you can actually see and do and feel in your own neighborhood is more important. Mr. Beast now has 77.3 followers on here and 57.3 bookmarks for the show on Sunday. Wow. It's 2/8 at 1 p.m. Eastern time, 30 products in his shop. Okay, there we go. So everybody go check that out. Interesting. Welcome in, Sam. It is. How are you today? All right. So, what do you guys need help with? What are your struggles? What, kinds of things are you feeling like, you just need some guidance? And people have asked me before, will you do one-on-ones, pay to give people help? And I'm just like, I honestly don't have time. I just simply don't. Just trying to keep myself, my business, my personal family life going is about all I can do. So I'm sorry, but I just don't have time for that. Um, so I'm on my treadmill walking, getting my exercise, talking to you guys, because that was the time that I had that I felt like I could do that. And in addition, I multitask almost everything I do, trying to get everything done that I need to get done. All right, Fabric Roof says shipping. So let me guide you for shipping. Um, are you new enough that you don't have the option for reduced shipping? And if you don't know, then probably you don't. Or if you do know, then you will know that you have it. So they took away the reduced shipping option about 2 months ago, I want to say, from anyone signing up new. And I've heard lately that it has disappeared for even some existing sellers, although I think that's a glitch. So you're too new. Okay, so you don't have reduced shipping, but this is the guide that I tell people to copy because it walks you through kind of how to set your settings based on what you sell. So, any shipping advice that you take should be based on what you sell, because shipping is going to be different for different types of products, different volume of sales, all of that stuff. So the thing that I just pinned, tap it again, and take a screenshot of that with the disclaimer that it will talk about reduced shipping in there, and you don't have reduced shipping probably. And then you need to go to my YouTube account, which is in the show notes. So it's Draz on Whatnot. It's next to that little talking head in my show notes. Type it in with the ampersand to find my account, because I'm not Mr. Beast. And so if you just type in Draz, it's not going to bring it up. And so type it in with the ampersand to find my account. Go to the lives. Good morning, Trish. How are you? Go to the lives and find the show that is called Don't Sink Your Shipping. That is from about 6 months ago. There's one that we talked last month that has that same title. It's the previous one before that, where I show all the boxes. I show you stuff on screen. It basically walks you through shipping. There are some changes coming to not specifically like packaging, more to like the packing slips, and not packaging. They're not changing up, going to a different service yet. They have said that's in the works to try and offer more than just the US Postal Service, but we aren't there yet. But they are changing a little bit about packing slips and some of the other stuff that's coming. But not here yet. So that video will still be relevant, and you can watch it, and it will help you decide boxes and how to ship different things in the different boxes. This little chart that I just pinned is helpful. It's a visual. If your label says this is the type of packaging you can or cannot use. So the one I just pinned on your screen, take a screenshot of that one. This was created by Blazing Bunny. She has a lot of good content out on social media for shipping help as well. So take a screenshot of that. And again, take advice from someone who sells the same types of things as you, because depending on what you sell, shipping settings are going to work differently. Let's see. I heard that I should do flat rate shipping for everything. So I did that, but I sell fabric. So it just seems odd that I'm putting 1 yard of fabric in a medium flat rate box. Well, if it's under a pound, you shouldn't be putting it in a medium flat rate box. You should be putting it in a poly mailer, mailing it Ground Advantage, because if your label prints out for Ground Advantage, it needs to be in a poly mailer, your own packaging. So when someone says that, what they're saying is have your 1 to 5 pounds and 5 pounds and over set for flat rate. But everything that's under a pound just gets mailed, in poly mailers or your own packaging, not the Postal Service packages. And you should be selling things by weight. So you should have listings in there, that you're selling it by the accurate weight that it is, which includes the packaging. But a poly mailer weighs about an ounce. So if you have a yard of fabric weighs between 4 to 6 ounces. And then, you add an ounce for the poly mailer. So you should be listing a yard of fabric between 4 to 7 ounces. If you want to be more accurate, you can use custom shipping profiles to have it be more. But you know how fabric is. It depends on the brand of fabric, because an art gallery cotton is a much lighter weight cotton than, say, a Robert Kaufman. So a yard of fabric can vary, between 1 and 2 ounces, sometimes up to 3 ounces. If it's more of a heavier weight cotton. So yeah, if it's less than a pound, if they only came in and bought 1 or 2 pieces of fabric, then it should be going Ground Advantage in your own packaging. All right, hope that answers that. Is there a venue to tell vendors how to measure fabric? There's all kinds of content on the internet to tell people how to measure. There's some little cheat sheets out there. If you just go on Google and type quilting fabric measurements, it'll tell you the different, like what's a half yard, because a yard of fabric is 36 inches. So a half yard is 18 inches. And if you match up selvages, that's the width of your fabric. So if you open it all the way wide, most quilting fabric is 44 to 45 inches wide. So there's little cheat sheets like that will tell you all the different measurements. What a fat quarter is, what a fat eighth is, what's a third of a yard, etc., etc. Oh, if Whatnot has any, no. Because that's standard quilting, and it's, we're just one niche category on the platform. So, they're not going to provide something like that. But, that's something people can just go look up easily on Google. Yeah. Oh, you're welcome, Fabric Roost. Welcome in, everybody. If you have questions, put them in chat with a question mark so they show up bold. Let me know if you have any specifics that you want to talk about. And I'm just, chatting today about whatever anyone wants to talk about. I started talking originally about Promote and shared a little bit about that. We did go and look. Whatnot did originally have on the Whatnot seller account an update show scheduled for tomorrow. They moved that out. So right now the update show is scheduled on the 4th of March, which is kind of disappointing. I was hoping they were going to announce some of the big updates, but I guess they're not ready yet. So, yeah. And I do know of some things specifically that I personally am beta testing, that are coming. They're just not quite ready. And, it is good that they try to test things before they put it out there. That's important. It's just hard to wait for some of the things that we all want to change. It's hard to wait. All right. let's see what kind of stuff is coming that you know of. Changes to packing slips. We're beta testing AI to be able to create listings that will make it so much faster. They're just, things like that for sure that I know of that are already in the works. And then if you watched the Whatnot Seller show that they did the interview with the CEO, that was like 2 weeks ago, I want to say. It's already out on the YouTube account. So if you look at the second starred bullet in my show notes, that's the YouTube account. And let me show you, that video is out there. Let me go look. So the Whatnot app YouTube account, they post the videos for, let me pull up that account and I'll show you. So here's the official Whatnot YouTube account. And if you just type in Whatnot, you're going to get just every video out there that mentions Whatnot. So type it in with the ampersand so that it comes up. And let's see if they've posted that video. Yeah, it's right here. So the Whatnot CEO, it was posted 11 days ago. So go watch that video on YouTube. And he talked a lot about areas that they're going to focus on for updates this year. He talked about possibly adding some more shipping provider options, like maybe you I don't know which ones, but possibly adding UPS and FedEx and I don't know, some other options. He talked about trust and safety, where they're spending a lot of money on trust and safety. He said their goal is eventually to have live customer service, but didn't specify when that's possibly going to happen. I thought it was interesting because he talked about the origins of how this company came to be. And I did not know that, his original intent was for it to be a social platform. That was his original intent, was he wanted somewhere where you could go and buy and sell things and have the social interaction with people. So that, I think that's super cool because that's a big part of this platform. I mean, it's way huger than he ever imagined, but that's super cool. Let's see. Love So says, I want to sell my handmade sewn items. Is that something that would be good items to sell? Well, anything is good items to sell. It just depends on some other factors. So handmade is kind of tough on the platform just because this platform is not, that's not the origins. That's not what it's known for. But is that an emerging category? Yes. But it's been an emerging category for 2 years now, and we still haven't arrived. So we need, enough handmade sellers to come over and have some really big things happen in that category for it to take off more. But there are people in handmade doing well on the platform. So can it be done? Yes. But do you have to kind of bring your own audience, promote yourself, find the niche that's going to work? The answer is also yes. So, you just have to be patient. And I would say you have to mix it in with other things. And there are some sellers who are having success doing tutorials and selling kits, but it's not going to make you a ton of money. It's not going to be like the other handmade platform where you can actually just put your handmade stuff out there and do well. Although that other platform, in my opinion, sucketh big time because they ruined it with a lot of other things. So, but you do have to find kind of a niche and, bring people that really want your handmade stuff. You have to network with, yes, Faye is just saying that. I've had to network with others in handmade. Raid trains help. There's a lot of things you can do, but it's a lot of work. Hey, Cheryl's Crafty World, how are you this morning? Hope you're having a good day. So do you suggest if a vendor is mislabeling fabric as 1 yard when it is only a half yard to just contact them directly to tell to measure by sell? Yeah. So if there's someone that's selling fabric and they don't understand. I mean, you have to recognize that if someone doesn't know anything about fabric and they, maybe they're a storage locker person that came across someone's haul of fabric, just be patient with them and explain how to measure so that, you know, be nice and help them out a little bit so that they're not misrepresenting and making people unhappy. So, yeah, maybe just explain it in chat how to measure it so they can accurately describe and sell the fabric. But be patient with sellers like that. Usually they're selling it for cheap because they're just, unloading something from an estate or storage. And they don't always know how fabric works. So you just have to kind of, explain it. Oh, yeah. And most people are. Most people are like, please tell me how to measure, what to do with this. I know nothing about fabric, I'm just saying, be patient with people selling fabric that know nothing about it because they truly are just kind of winging it. Yeah. All right. And then as far as handmade, let me just tell you some people that are having success in handmade. And it's kind of across all different kinds of medium. But like we've got people who are selling handmade soap that are doing well. We have people that are selling tumblers. We have people hand making stuff with fabric. There's some upcyclers that are doing pretty good. It just depends on the category. And I would say the ones that are doing the best are the people that have found a niche that just people just love. So there's a couple of sellers with that do art, that they do their artwork live on the show, let people pick things. There are people who are hand making upcycled clothing. Those are usually pre-made, because the other caution about handmade on here is that Whatnot has not agreed to bend any of the shipping time frames for custom made items. So you have to be able to have it either pre-made or something that you can make and ship out within the 2-day time range. So think about that too. Try, you're not going to be able to offer long-term custom made products at this point on the platform because they just aren't allowing an extended shipping time for custom made stuff. And they just haven't, it does make it hard. So, but that's just not where their focus is. And, they just don't, if you look at the history of this platform and what's selling well and what's doing well, you have to understand, as much as we would like for them to have recognition for that, that's not what's making them money right now. And so you have to understand, as much as we're like, boo hoo, I want to sell this stuff here and I want to be able to take custom orders, that's not where the money is right now. And why would they, make exceptions or do other things for that category if it's not proven and, making them money and doing well? So, it is what it is, you know. So, but I will tell you that a lot of what is doing well is demonstrations, tutorials, and selling kits. So, a lot of people are showing people how to make something simple and then selling the kits to make it with them for themselves. And that does pretty well. I would say probably stick with things that are a little less complicated, simple to make. And then in maybe sewing and quilting, you can get a little bit more detailed and more um, complicated. But those shows will have mixed attendance. And you don't sell a ton in those shows either. You sell to the people who actually want to buy the kit and make it. But are you going to have like massive sales? Probably not. But it will help you build an audience, and you can mix in selling some of the ones that you've already made, because inevitably you'll get someone in there that's just like, that's so cute, but I have no desire to make it myself. Can I just buy one? And you're going to be able to sell some. So always have some that are pre-made for those people, because that can help you start building an audience. But and I know pre-made's hard too, because you don't want to invest a lot of money and time into stuff that won't sell. So you have to kind of really have a pulse on what people will buy. What are things that people actually will buy that are handmade? As much as we want everybody to buy the stuff that we make, because we love making it, you have to have a grasp on reality of not everybody loves certain stuff. They just don't. We're very much a turn and burn, dollar store, Walmart society, where everything's, just disposable products, honestly, right? We're still kind of in that, and so people just don't support handmade like we would like them to. So, and if they did, honestly, we would have to hire people to make it, because you could only make so much yourself, right? So, really think that through, be honest about it, and make sure that what you're spending time doing makes sense for what you're able to do with it. And keep a lot of your creativity, where it belongs, which is, personal use, family use, gift use, because no one's going to be able to ever pay you in a lot of ways what it was, all the time and supplies and everything you put into making something amazing and beautiful. Not everyone appreciates that, is going to spend the money to buy it. So be honest with yourself. And that sounds kind of discouraging. I'm just trying to give you a dose of reality, and not have you spend so much money and so much time hand making things that are never going to sell. So you have to be honest about that. And really look at the different people that have created little niches that people love, because there are some, and there is something probably out there that you could do. You just have to figure it out. I sell my sister's pre-made handcrafted items, and then place her card inside the package if they want to order more or different. Yeah, absolutely. Because that's kind of how you get the word out. And there are some artisans who do really, really well. It's just depends on what's trendy, what people want. And we go through trends. I mean, for a while there, everyone was making tumblers, or everyone was making resin art, or everyone was making headbands. But it comes and goes as fast as we can, and then everybody's stuck with all these supplies. So you kind of got to be realistic about it and keep on top of what's trending, and not overbuy. I was reading an article yesterday about that. You know, you need to be on top of the trend, get enough of it while it's hot, and then sell it fast so that by that time the trend is over, you aren't stuck with a butt ton of supplies or of that item that's no longer trendy. Does that make sense? And that applies to handmade as well as any other products. So you want to be at the forefront of getting a bunch of that inventory while it's hot and then selling it super fast so that by the time that trend is waning, you're already done. You've made your money and you're not the one stuck with a bunch of dead stock that nobody wants. Right? Yeah, mood rings and pet rocks. Anyone? So are you admitting that you maybe have a few of those? Yeah, so and we all make that mistake. You know, we all think, oh, this is going to sell so well and it's so cool. And then, you know, we sell a few and then nobody wants it anymore. So be really cautious. Yeah, you were obsessed with the pet rocks. So here's a cute story. So my daughter was into the ones where you paint them and put them around and people find them and stuff. And she put a bunch around our neighborhood when we lived in Arizona. And then when we left, she actually went and gathered a bunch of them up and brought them with her. And I just found one in our yard the other day. The paint is starting to be almost gone, but my granddaughter picked it up and was showing it to me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's one of my daughter's painted rocks. So, yeah. But yeah, don't get stuck with a bunch of stuff that you thought, you know, always be really cautious about it, but, you know, go into it hot and heavy and then get rid of it fast and don't get stuck with it, you know, and I'm not perfect at that either, you know, and it's funny because we do have those trends in fabric as well. Because you'll have a certain brand or a certain type of fabric everybody wants, and then all of a sudden nobody wants it anymore, right? So, yeah. The national news says the under 30 have taken up crochet and knitting in a big way. Yes. And where the heck are they going to get their yarn anymore? Because Joann's is gone. Michael's is carrying some of it, but not all of it. Same with fabric. So there is a huge opportunity with certain crafty things because there's a huge void with Joann's closing because that was the big supplier for all things yarn and fabric for the average American, and it's gone. And Walmart has scaled down. So I live in Utah, mecca of crafting, handcrafting, and my local Walmart, which is a super Walmart, got rid of their fabric on bolts. And now there is an aisle that has pre-cut fabric on, you know, either bins of fat quarters or they have little half yards, yards, 2 yards, and 3 yards, you know, folded onto these little cardboard bolts. That's it. So you can no longer go into my Walmart and have fabric cut off of a bolt. Mind blowing for Utah, right? So, you know, online is where people are having to go to get most of their craft supplies now. So be on top of what people want. Because Michael's and Hobby Lobby are the only ones really left with some, and they just don't have a good selection. So, yeah. If fabric sellers have listings and buy it now, it could show up in Google searches. Yes, you absolutely should always have buy it now listings. It will show up in searches. So have stuff listed. We talked about listings. That's what we talked about. That's the thing I was trying to think of. So listings is what we talked about in my last live show, where we were in front of the camera in the evening. And let me pull that one in, because I have a little Dana's thing about listings. Why is it not coming up? Maybe I have it in here and I don't realize it. Let's see. Is it in here? My one about listings. Oh, yeah, it is in here. So why list quality listings? So let me pin that one. So this is my little thing I put together. And if you, the cover is just the what not search under listings. But if you scroll to the second page, it talks about the importance of why do you want to have listings on the platform. So take a screenshot of that. It's kind of convinces you that you should definitely have listings. All right. Yeah, not everyone lives near a Hobby Lobby or a Michael's, because they were not as prevalent as Joann's, right? Or Walmart, obviously. Your 12-year-old granddaughter is knitting and crocheting. Aw, that is so cute. I love it. The national news says oh yeah, I read that. Let me make sure I didn't miss any questions. Let's see. Doesn't look like I did, so we're good. All right. So I actually can't stay on too long today because I have a bunch of cutting and shipping to do. So let's kind of wrap things up. Is there anything anyone wants to talk about that we haven't addressed? Again, I'm on every Tuesday and Thursday mornings to help you. And then my next show in person on my profile is this show right here that is on the 11th. And we're going to talk about keeping and attracting and keeping buyers in your shows. So that's our topic. And we'll be in front of the camera talking about that. So make sure you have that show bookmarked. And if you find these helpful, I'll be here Tuesdays and Thursdays. I think I've only missed I took Christmas and New Year's Day off because it was on Thursdays this year, and I did not go live on Christmas and New Year's Day because I felt like A, probably no one will come, and B, I'm going to take a day off. So there we go. But other than that, I pretty much show up, everybody. So I'm here. You're so welcome. And I hope that we get that figured out for you, Lynn. Just be vigilant in staying on that same email thread and message me, and I'll try in my little world of influence to try and help you out a little better. So yeah, just message me. Okay. All right, you guys, let's go find someone to raid into in the fabric world, because that's what I'm selling today. Let's go see who could use a little boost. Oh, we just got a raid from Save by Thrift. Everybody tap Save by Thrift to give them a follow. Thank you so much for the raid. Save by Thrift has a show on the 5th selling shoes, and Men's Modern on the 6th. So everyone help Save by Thrift save the planet by buying upcycled clothing and shoes and everything else. I think that's important. I do a lot of thrifting myself. So very cool. Oh, and you've got watches coming up, t-shirts coming up, bags coming up. So lots of shows that you can bookmark on Save by Thrift. Thank you so much for the raid. We're actually going to take you and the rest of everybody and go raid into a fabric seller. So let me see who's on. We're gonna go raid into, let's see, Cambria Boyd is live with 5 people. So we're gonna go bless her with a little raid. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a marvelous day. Make it a great day. And hopefully something that I shared today was helpful. Have a wonderful